Hey guys, Anthony Carey here. I've got something really special for you today. I've got my good friend and superstar in the industry, a man who really needs no introduction, is Todd Durkin. What a lot of people don't know about Todd is that, first of all, he and I come from the same roots. We grew up about an hour apart from each other in New Jersey. Both played quarterback in college. He probably played a lot better and a lot more than I did. Both came to San Diego, coast to coast. Both went through almost the same exact program at San Diego State, and we've settled here. Slightly different paths now because he works with a lot of athletes. I work with a lot of people in pain. But Todd has become certainly one of the best known names, and for very good reason, in the industry. But a question that has kind of gotten to me recently as I go to the fitness conferences, and I present a lot, so I get to see a lot of this. People like Todd and even Peter Twist, amazing professionals. They motivate people, they get huge rooms full of people at all their presentations. But I think what they're not getting the recognition for is the science that's behind so much of what they do. And I wanted to ask Todd, a man who can get you motivated and keep you inspired, but he really knows the science. He got where he did, where he is, because of what he's been able to practice and accomplish with clients. So Todd, I know it's a lot of fun to get in front of all those people, but do you think people realize how smart you are?
That's a great question. Well, first off, I'm still learning a lot of stuff, and I look back on the journey. Sometimes you forget to reflect on your journey, and my undergraduate degree was in kinesiology, and then I went to massage therapy school. Part of my experience comes from my own back pain from playing football and investing lots of years and time in training with gurus and mentors that taught me energy work, hands-on work, myofascial work. My whole 20s, I joke, is all about learning. It was all about learning different trades as far as using my hands and different knowledge that way. So I think now when I present and we have large classes and hundreds of people, I think the experience I try to create blends the energy and motivation, which I study now a lot, that whole energy side, along with the science aspect. And I think anything that we do as fitness professionals, it needs to make sense. What I still do is I still do a lot of sessions, 15 to 20 sessions, Anthony. I'm still in a week training my athletes, including not just athletes. A lot of folks think I just train athletes. Part of what we do here at Fitness Quest 10 and what I do is I still train the everyday Joe and Jane that I've been working with for years. I like that. It keeps me really in touch with reality. Sure. Sometimes when I'm training just a pro athlete, we forget how easy and gifted that these folks are. It does take a great coach to motivate them and to tweak little things. Things like you do on the cortex, how to isolate the hip flexor a little bit better, how we can mobilize the ankle and get some more ankle mobility. I try to take those experiences and not only use them with my athletes and the everyday folk, I do try to blend it in with the conferences. It's a lot harder with hundreds of people, but it's a good question. It's a deep question I haven't thought about much. Is I guess one of the reasons when I'm presenting and one of the reasons on the platform is years and years of devotion to trying to master the craft.
No question about it. And I would like people to really remember what you've done up to this point to get where you are, because I think a lot of people will see you as somebody that they aspire to be as a professional, and for them to understand what you've gone through at this point. And so, like at the upcoming Perform Better, you're going to be presenting on what?
Core and cuff. My 2012 talk has been on core and cuff, and I've actually had a great time teaching core and cuff this past year because I'm really sharing a lot of what I do in the trenches. There's about 100 different exercises that I'm using, and many of them people have never seen before, and they're taking my experiences from the mentors that I've learned from over the years, blending both corrective exercise type movements along with athlete performance, sport performance specific type movements, along with even some traditional moves that I've tweaked along the way into world-class results with my athletes. And in the core and cuff, I've got a ton of video. So I'm sharing not just, hey, do this. I'm not just a scientist behind saying, hey, I've studied this and read this. I'm actually saying, here are what my athletes are doing based on my study. Okay, so the science is meeting the practical in the laboratory right behind me here on that stuff. So the core and the cuff is what I've taught here in 2012, and I've enjoyed that time because it's giving me the opportunity to take a lot of the content and science that I use and use the experience of trying to create a great experience for somebody into one big fun session.
and it's got to be fun for them, right?
Well, absolutely. It's got to be fun for anyone, including the athlete, including the regular person, because we could take the best program out there, and in order to maintain someone's motivation and keeping their mind straight and focused for periods of time, whether it be a 12-week program, a 10-week program, an 8-month program, whatever it is, I think we have to continue to diversify and vary the program, yet it still needs to make sense. Right? It doesn't make sense to say, hey, go on the Cortex and do this crazy fun exercise. There's still a progression. There's still a progression that people have to do. Now, obviously, the more advanced folk is going to progress quicker. So we teach that even in the core and cuff program, and that's one thing I've enjoyed about that program this year is to get back in there and to teach. Number one, coaches and fitness professionals, you have to teach, and coach. Never forget, you can't just be a rah-rah cheerleader, energizer type guy or gal that's in there doing that. You still have to make sure that you're giving specific corrective feedback up to 60% of the time over general praise. Because if you're always just telling people, hey, good job, nice job, rah, 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 that blends out after a while. Right. People need to learn how to become better, so you have to give them very specific feedback. And Anthony, I know even in you working today with our staff doing a TFT, Anthony's doing a TFT, training fellow trainer for the Fitness Quest 10 team. Like, that allows us to improve as a team and to get better, and we're always learning. And I think we have to be committed, regardless of if this is your first year, your second year in the industry, if you're 20 years in the industry, like, to continue to look at your program and ask yourself why. Why am I doing this exercise? Why does it make sense? Because what I'm teaching this year is slightly different from what I taught last year, right? So why am I doing this? What can I do to be a little bit better? How can I tweak it so I can make sure that they get everything out of it? How can I vary foot position? How can I vary my hand positioning? So that's mastering the craft. And then when you can blend the science with the art of training, that's the key to a great session. You have to be science-based. We can never, as fitness pros, lose the art of training. And if we can marry those two together, that provides for just a great experience, a great session, a great business.
That's phenomenal. Now, we both know that if we get 150 people in a room for an hour and a half, we can only give them so much in that amount of time. People really do want to know how much Todd Durkin and his team know, and what they can learn from. How can they come to you for more? Talk about your mentorship a little bit and what people can get out of those kind of things.
Well, thanks for asking. I think one thing I've learned almost 10 years of teaching conferences, sometimes it frustrates me because, like, you get people fired up and you teach them a certain amount, and I got to a point a few years ago where I was like, there's more to what I'm doing than an hour and a half workshop, and I want to do that. So I created my mastermind program. My mastermind program is an ongoing learning program, and it involves business, it involves marketing, it involves leadership, personal development, and of course in the trench talk. And all of those, like, we have to spend time here, but if you're not spending time like on business development, well, you may be a great trainer, but if you don't understand the business or the marketing, then you can't ever get to where you want to go. If you don't understand leadership on all levels, then you can't really grow personally or even as a leader. So that's what the mastermind does. It's an ongoing program that we have that is a great way for me to coach literally every day. I have a group that I'm doing calls with online. It's all virtual. There's people from all over the world, so people can connect. They can just go to my website, todddurkin.com. They can get information on it. And then we have a very intensive program, a 3.5-day mentorship program. That mentorship program is only offered 2 times a year. It's very intensive. It's just a 3.5-day hitter, and it goes as deep as any program that I offer, because we're going into not only in the trench talk, which is only about 20% of the mentorship is the art of training. A lot of it goes into the business, marketing, leadership, and personal development side of things, which I don't think in our industry we get enough of. We need to go deeper. You may hear, like, you gotta be a better business leader. Well, how? Like, how do I be a better businessman or a better businesswoman? How do I create revenue and create campaigns and have different programs? And how do I maximize social media? All these things. So in that intensive program is where I offer everything that I know. And one of the lessons I've learned in the last 7, 8 years of doing business, like yourself, is who you surround yourself with is absolutely essential to your overall success. And I've got an inner team at Fitness Quest 10 and Todd Durkin Enterprises that helps me fulfill my mission mission and vision and what we do. So the mentorship and the mastermind is a program for me to work with my team, my inner team, and to have coaches with me deliver great content, great information, and to deliver results for our avid followers and fans and members of the mastermind, and of course the attendees of the mentorship.
Awesome, awesome. Obviously, Todd's got a lot to offer. He's not just that guy that's out there keeping everybody motivated. He's come from the trenches, worked his way up. He's got science, he's got business stuff, and I'm proud to call him a friend. And if you get a chance to check out any of Todd's stuff, don't miss that opportunity to any of the shows, or go to his website and get some information on his follow-up programs. Thanks.
Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it, brother.
My pleasure.
Peace.